Portugal, porque en la península ibérica ha habido minería de uranio. Yo hablaré de lo que ha sido en España y Antonio hablará de lo que es la minería en Portugal. Y yo creo que sin más preámbulo, porque andamos mal de tiempo, teníamos que haber empezado a las 10 y ya son las 10:25. Entonces, le cedo la palabra a Antonio y que los cuente sobre la minería de uranio en Portugal. Antonio habla portugués. ¿Qué vas a hablar? ¿Portuñol o más portugués que español? Mitad, mitad. O sea, él habla más portugués. Quiero decir, por ejemplo, dentro de los portugueses ayer el chico hablaba muy bien español, Nuno mitad y mitad, y yo creo que Minhoto andará como Nuno un poco menos. Así que tendréis que aguzar un poquito el oído, ¿vale?
Bom dia Portugal e bom dia Espanha, ok? Vou tentar falar mais devagar, a ver se...
Mais devagar e mais despacio.
Mais espaço, a ver se a minha comunicação se fica mais percebida. Então acho que falar do urânio em Portugal ou falar no mundo, a questão do urânio é igual. Os impactos...
Is the same, the impacts of all this exploitation in the atomic era. Portugal participated actively in the exploitation initiated in 1947, participated with uranium for the atomic bomb. Portugal had, in any case, an important impact in the uranium exploitation, which was negative in the atomic evolution, but also a very negative impact in the exploitation of uranium in Portugal. And in Portugal, in Spain, in Brazil, in America, the impacts are identical. In Portugal, it was linked to the exploitation of radio and then uranium. It was a very important site for this mineral. They really like it so much that the uranium stones were pretty beautiful. The mineral, and Madame Curie, the great French scientist, had these stones that had radiation. She then died of cancer because of this. This story is important to understand the importance of the nuclear. Is related to the exploitation of uranium. So, in Portugal, to fight the nuclear, we have to close the uranium mines because they are both linked to each other. The power plants needs the matter, the uranium, to work, to operate. So for the struggle, and in the retortilla, and in Portugal, we say no to uranium exploitation. Today, it is pretty important in Portugal, even to discuss now the exploitation of lithium, to perceive the impacts. The history in Portugal shows that all mines, both of uranium and wolframium and coal, had a very negative impact. And today, the Portuguese government has great difficulties to recover and finish with the negative consequences, the radiation and implication and pollution of water related to the mines, to end with that situation. Mines that for 30 years are still there, and pollution is still to be solved. Like I said, it's more than 30 years. Today, there is a consensus in Portugal that the exploitation of uranium was a mistake from the economic, social, and environmental point of view. Economically, because today it is most costly because Portugal has not money enough to recover in time, because it is very costly financially, but in social terms, it left a very negative impact on workers, miners, and their families, many dead people of cancer. In environmental terms, it left some 66 mines in different regions and districts in Portugal that are affected by this exploitation. Like I said, it started in 1907. The French started to search for uranium until the year the mines closed. Different countries were interested in minerals in Portugal. Then came the English, related to the Americans, to look for radio and uranium. I'm trying to explain here the evolution and its impacts. I said 1917, in 1940, there were some explorations in the Guarda region. They looked for uranium in the Viseu regions. They focused on radium exploitation, and the English needed lots of people to work there in that region to develop very quickly the economy of extraction, and many workers came to work in that region. We may say that in 1940 there is an evolution, a progress, because workers left the rural areas, less developed, and they went to the mines with better conditions from the point of view, economic point of view. They were earning more. So you may say that that was a positive evolution in terms of sustainability. But then the Portuguese radium company in 1951, it ends in 1944, and then in 1962 they started to explore uranium in Portugal and export it to England in a joint venture with the American. Until 1962, the English were exploiting uranium, and then the 1962 were the Portuguese with the help of the state, the Portuguese state.
No se ve bem? Ok. Como eu estava a informar, nós vimos aqui a evolução.
So we see here the evolution, the zone, the site where the exploitation was placed. There is a concentration of uranium in these facilities, they had a very positive evolution. The polluted soil, they wanted to concentrate all the workers, concentration of houses for the workers to have a better condition and be close to the farm. So there was a certain evolution of creation of housing for the workers and social issues, the house of the workers, sports center, even the national police they had. And here was born the mining community of Ujeriza. At this point, they started to have some 1,500 workers alone. It is a period of great prosperity with social costs and human costs that were really serious. Conditions were pretty hard. There was no labor relationships, no rights. They would work deep into the mine, some 500 meters underground, 8 hours work inside with no refrigeration. There were many accidents, working accidents, lung cancer because of radiation. You see here some snapshots of the inside of a mine. You see there is no ventilation. The workers are unprotected, no masks, no information, because it was really hot, because there was no refrigeration, because otherwise they would asphyxiate. Afterwards, there was the importance of a new evolution. They were exploiting some 150 uranium tons, but they had the need to increase that production. So in the 70s, they reached some 300 tons per day. How did they do this? And now you see here the great negative impacts. They stopped to exploit it underground, so it was in the open. So more problems started because the particles were emitted in the open air. The waters were polluted, the agriculture with the transformation and the use of machines, they would increase the impact. So we see here these mines. You see water, mixing waters, agricultural water and mine water. And to be more yielding, more profitable, the Portuguese state would use the mines that were less profitable. They would leave them there, and they would use sulfuric acid to corrode the mineral. So they would introduce a new data, the introduction of sulfuric acid to corrode the mine. So all around the country, you would find open-air mines because they wanted to have more profits. Some 66 craters throughout the country. The link through the national uranium firm reduce the working force to 500 workers. Some 170, we have now data, would die because of cancer, lung cancer that affected these miners. The malignant neoplasias, so they are called. This is a mine, important mine in Portugal, in which you had some 115 miners deaths. It's classical mine. As you can see, they are all equipped, young people. This is they would have different working periods. These people, I knew them personally. They were young. In the 80s, they were around 40 years old. Today, large part of these workers died because of malignant neoplasias. There was sports. They would play sports for the family, for spare time, and this football team that was important because they would represent the Portuguese mines in the football championship. We were champions. We would win always. We were athletes. They would train. They had a coach. They were in good physical shape. A large part of them later would die because of cancer. In 2009, we presented at the Portuguese Congress a memorandum explaining, after organizing different fora with scientists, scholars, politicians, trade unions, a great divulgation work speaking about the impacts of uranium and its malignant effects. It wasn't easy because for the economy of that regions, they would think that would destroy their greatness and development. So the majors, they wanted to keep silent because of tourism, because they didn't want the people escaping that area, so the majors and the politicians wouldn't speak of the impact. So it was pretty difficult to present our opinion. So we had to write a memorandum to present it to all political parties at the Portuguese Congress about the causes and the effects. The miners there had a leading role to develop the recovery of those areas, because the radiation, the effects, you don't see them, you don't perceive them. The underground effects, they don't smell. So for the rest of the people, there was no problem. So you would find some blue water, and you would see children swimming and bathing in that water. And those children, the parents, they didn't know anything about the effects. And the majors, the politicians, they would remain silent. So with a great effort, we would denounce it on behalf of the government and the citizens this situation. And here, as you can see, you had different situations. You see this area in which the workers, they would cook meat, you see, which using wood that was polluted. You would have agriculture polluted with particles. Then you see a woman, worker's wife with the clothes and washing the workers' clothes that were polluted and the workers struggling. In 2001, the government decreed the closure of mines, and the mines would have to be enclosed because of security issues. You can see here the miners again in the Bissau region organizing, holding a march to protest, to raise the claims. This is a situation this is before you would see the mining of Juriza, and today this is a new evolution with recovery. They would throw the waste that were dumped close to the population, next to the population, so the workers and the families, they always had great serious impact. This is the industrial zone where the extraction site was placed. The technicians, the experts, all of them were together at this site, this operating mine. So the problem was that all those workers would die of cancer. The miners, the engineers, the clerks, the truck drivers, because all the particles were in the air, on the tracks. They were circulating, and everybody would inhale them. So 2 managers would die of cancer, and even other workers. This is the protection, which is no real protection. Anybody can get in and get out. Even some real estate developers, constructors would get sand and stuff to use it for real estate development. This was an important day in the meeting of the European Commission. So we went there to Porto to denounce this situation. This importance of the struggle, workers' struggle, and this denounce had the effect that several scientists and scholars were concerned about this issue, and some of them wrote PhDs, thesis about the uranium exploitation and its impact. It was pretty positive because different theses were written about this. We went to the European Parliament struggling and denouncing, and we published a book about the mining and the working conditions there. This is a meeting we organized with all the parliamentary groups about environmental issues at Ojeriza to explore this evolution of the recovery of the mines, the construction sites in which materials from the mines were used. So still people has radiation in their own houses now. That's why we say today, and with this, this is from 2000 to 2016, all the rights we wanted to get back. We wanted the environmental recovery of these sites. We wanted all workers having medical attention about their illnesses, because it was proved that we were polluted. So a program was approved, a health program for the workers. We obtained the acknowledgement that all workers should be recognized as workers under dangerous condition, and also a compensation to all the families with dead people because of cancer. So in 2016, this was the conclusion. All the political parties involved in this struggle after the 2015 elections, they passed a decree in which compensation was given to these families, and they organized also a public homage to the workers, to the miners, and declared that the state was guilty and accomplice of this situation, pollution situation. We as miners, we want to look forward. This forces us to a new dynamic. We want a state museum in which this story should be told with videos, with old devices, and a narration of the whole story. We have technical commissions, scientifically working to study all these conditions about the health situation. We understand as miners that this life is infinite. The causes and prejudices and biases are endless. New cases show up, so we think that the uranium exploitation is a mistake that belongs to the past in Portugal, in Spain, and everywhere. It's no progress at all. It provokes great problems for humanity, for anybody involved. So that's why we say that in defense of fundamental rights, this struggle must go on and will be there together, because new cases are going to show up. We still don't know. We still don't know all the problems in the families. The effects it will have on generations is still to be analyzed, but there is a true fact. This is a situation, and the negative consequences will be there forever, and the exploitation of lithium in Europe and in Portugal is also very negative in comparison with the open mines left in Portugal, with a negative impact on landscape and on development. So we think that they should be closed, and a new attitude, a new position should be adopted with regards to the planet and humanity. Thank you.
Bueno, la situación es dramática, ¿eh? Teníamos que acabar a las 11.
The situation is dramatic. We have to finish at 11. I'm going to explain a little bit about this. It's not the paper route I gave to the translator, but I will be ready to answer any question about it. In Spain, it was different. It was at the beginning of the 20th century in Spain. It started to look for uranium after the 40s and 50s in Portugal, but in Spain, it was about searching for the atom bomb. We have had nuclear power plants that they don't have in Portugal. In Spain, after the death of Franco, they were still looking for the atom bomb. The problem is not just the mining, but also the concentration plants. In Spain, there were some 3 plants, Andújar, Jaén, and Badajoz, and Salices El Chico in Salamanca. We are a citizens' platform struggling against the mines they want to open in Salamanca. El Retortillo is the most famous, and also in the so-called 7th zone in Salamanca. So they want to open them. We have another problem here, that we have a nuclear fuel plant. Once the fuel is enriched, they manufacture them this if we finish with the nuclear plants, we wouldn't need mines. The problem we had, Leona explained to us yesterday, once they open the hole, they fill in with whatever they want. El Cabril, the nuclear dam with low and middle waste, it was a uranium mine. In lava, they put any nuclear garbage. In Salices, in Salamanca, they're spending millions for the recovery of a land you cannot access to. The problem of the treatment of the mineral is that this is a waste. This is a nuclear shade that will be there for generation, and this is against intergenerational justice. The decisions made now because of greed and because of corruption in Spain, the corruption we have in Spain, this implies that some firms obtain profit and have the permits to develop these projects that have negative consequences. In Retortillo, they got money, the municipality, to facilitate the opening of the mine. Also in Badajoz, there were corruption cases. There is a mine of a treatment plant. José Manuel Soria awarded the permission. Berkeley is this firm, is an European firm, so the permission was given because of Arias Cañete, because a lobbyist, Lamela, talked to him. So the power of the nuclear lobby is linked to corruption, and the consequences is that we have mining projects in Salamanca, also in Badajoz, and it's pretty important the help of the Portuguese comrades because they have come to our protest, and we are really thankful to him because the mine is 30 kilometers away from Portugal. If a disaster would happen, some floodings or whatever, 30 kilometers away from Portugal, all nuclear shit would go to Portugal from El Retortillo. Sorry for being so fast. You may ask some question. I'm sorry I couldn't read the text. Are there any questions or remarks? Raquel?
Bueno, las presentaciones del... No, pero habla tú solamente es eso. ¿Tú en inglés cómo podrás decir? Ahora que no, bueno, que lo digas, simplemente la presentación. Ah, pero sí.
Sí, bueno, pero lo hago mucho peor que en español. Le doy que la petición... Ahora ya. Esto vale para todas las ponencias.
This is for all your presentations. Please, could you send them to all participants because they are pretty interesting. My question for you is today, which is the situation with this Berkeley firm from the legal, technical point of view? This week, it's been even published because they really were high in the stock market, but I don't think it's going to go on. The uranium price, when this started, is some 140. Today is $24. It's not profitable, but they are speculating. They got permissions, but they are in the courts. That permission by José Manuel Soria, we expected to be cancelled, to be refused. They have a construction permission authorization that we have denounced in the court. So they don't have permission, they just want to speculate, and we expect it not to go on, but we must be vigilant, keep vigilant, and we want this nightmare to end as soon as possible. They even open the road and the coexistence among us because there are people that want the mine, so there is a civil distress because of this. It's not to be open, but the harm is already done. Sorry, Hipólito, we must end because we are 25 minutes late already. So thank you. Sorry to stop like this. So, and now Leona Morgan will speak here because we have changed side because here we have the simultaneous translation. So thank you.